The recently concluded Women Leadership Forum 2010 saw many speeches from professional women about challenges women leaders face today. One speech that stood out was given by Jessica Tan, the Managing Director of Microsoft Singapore and MP for East Coast GRC. It garnered nods of approval as she shared personal anecdotes and tips for women leaders. We bring you her entire speech in this 5-part series.
The topic I'm talking about today, and I always get a little bit antsy when I'm asked to talk about work-life balance because I don't think I'm a very good example of work-life balance. But I will attempt to tell you about how at least I try to manage, and also there are a few things I'd like to share with you on this space. But if you look at the title, and I want you to be conscious of that, it's about the power of choice. And as Minister Lim said, I don't know about whether it's about the privilege of being in Singapore, but I would say that having choice is something that women don't realize sometimes that we have, and the power of that choice. So I totally enjoy being a woman, and I totally enjoy being a woman in Singapore, because as Mrs. Lim had shared, there's a lot of things we take for granted, and working in a multinational corporation like I do, and we do have a big community of women leaders, and they do tell us about what they face, and you then realize how much we take for granted. And I'm also fortunate to also work in a multinational corporation that recognizes that the value of diversity and the value of the talent base that our women provide. So let me just share with you a few things. So before we start, I thought I'd take the difficult task of defining work-life balance, since that was our topic. And I would say, all the things you see on the left, I'd like you to say that basically I didn't succeed with coming up with a definition. But it is not an equal balance of how much time is spent. And that one I can say from personal experience. The balance is not about the balance of quantity, but it's really a balance of what matters to you. It's not a single definition. I actually tried to look at the various definitions, and I gave up. I wanted to give you all something neat and tidy, but couldn't come up with that. And an important point, as Minister Lim mentioned as well, it is not about gender. It's not something that's specific to men or women. It does affect all of us. The men that I work with grapple with the same thing. It's just different challenges. But it is definitely bi-directional. It is definitely about your work, and I say your work and your life. It is individually defined. And that's why it is so difficult to come with a definition. That's a point I want you to be very cognizant of, because I learned that from my own children. I'll share with you a little bit about that later. And it's about empowering you to do more. See, the problem with me is I personally know this about me. I'm a very lazy person. But at the same time, I'm also the sort that likes to do a lot. So I've learned the magic trick. Learn to do it with others. And leadership is really, we have to remember, it's about scaling and making things happen. All the definitions that Minister Lim shared with you, it's really about empowering others to do more. And in that process, you can do more. The other thing, again, is about gender neutrality. And something in Microsoft, we always say this, and we tell our customers this: our job as a technology provider is about helping you to do more. People hate this term because they try to put it under what is it that we call this? Productivity. But it's true. I have a personal edict in my own life. I never believe that I have 48 hours in a day. Everybody always tells me, just have more. Don't you wish you had more hours? I say, actually, no. I'll be very tired if I had more hours. But I will pack my hours. I only have 24, and actually less, but I also want to rest. I want to do the things I want to do. And so therefore I'm very cognizant. And in that time that I have, I want to do more. And really, this work-life balance is really understanding that. So I'd like you to leave you a quote from a philosopher, a 19th century philosopher. I thought it was a very important point because I'd like to make sure that it stays in your head, this power of choice. Man's power of choice enables him to think like an angel or a devil, a king or a slave. Whatever he chooses, mind will create and manifest. You know, I was laughing and I said to the minister, I said, it's very naughty of you to leave us with that last quote. You know, she always has this power of doing it. She does it so subtly. But it is, I think I must say I'm biased to women, so I will say this. The reason why sometimes we can make it happen, same thing, is because we can make it happen. And I'm a believer that the mind is the strongest. You know, you talk about glass half empty, half full. You can say the day is a gloomy day, or you can look at it and say, it's a nice school day, and I can get more done. You know, so it really depends on how you look at it. And this is very important.